Progress.
Whatever happened to the Windows?
Okay, let me share screen before I forget and get the caption.
You still have to do so for like, um, maybe it's-
Okay, so let's check out lab 11, right? We wrapped up the whole 11 chapters in the book. So I put together a little exercise for you to do a little bit of forensic, and so that kind of give you a little overview on what we're going to be learning in 27A. If you haven't taken it, I am teaching it in the fall. I think the fall schedule is out. So let me download this also. I mislabeled this, but we are going to use Autopsy, and if you use Kali, you actually have you can use this kit within, and Autopsy was really originally designed for Linux, but it is now compatible with Windows. Since I didn't want to use all the extra stuff with virtual machine that could go wrong, we're going to use Windows 10 in class today. Okay. So let me zoom in on this and then we'll get started with the step. So you're just simply going to use your Windows PC. Autopsy is a software. Originally it was browser based, was web based before, but now it's a full application where you can set up your case file and use images and use a lot of the features on it. So here it gives you a little bit of information. So Lookit is really a way that you can integrate some of the tools for file forensic and drive forensic and other things. So there are two types of analysis that you can perform on Autopsy. One is going to be a dead analysis. This is used to find data on a system that is dedicated. Okay, so what you would do is you would use things like expert witness, AFF file formats. Those are just used for forensic. We can cover that more in 27A. The second area is going to be your live analysis, which is what you can do analysis while it's running. Right. So in the case where you do incident response, if the incident is occurring, you can also do that live analysis. Where it's dead analysis is something after the fact, right? Something, let's say that you are required to do investigation on an event that happened a month ago, you would perform the dead analysis. So the big area that we're going to focus on today is only one feature in the application. Just keep in mind that Autopsy is a lot more than what you see today. So you are only going to use the keyword search. Keyword search allows us to search for all types of files or things, logs and stuff like that in the actual image. And it will let you take a look at your file system image, and this image is normally created by the investigator. I am giving you a downloadable image that was created by someone else. So as a forensic investigator or cybersecurity professional, you have to create an image of a system which takes capture of everything that happened in that system, and then you make a copy of it and you will evaluate it. When you perform a keyword search, it's going to look at the string as ASCII and it's going to use a regular expression. So regular expression in development is a way that we can look for pattern in characters to be able to identify certain objects. So for example, I can look for a certain file extension. I can look for a certain characters in the keywords and so on. So that way it can perform quickly to find you all types of files, all types of things that you put in the criteria. Now the search is performed in the entire image or just in a certain space. And unallocated space just means that that space is not dedicated for any kind of partitions or any kind of section on your drive that's used by other things like OS. So The reason why we're looking at unallocated space is because there are individuals that hide their files in space that's not used. People are smart, they don't put things in the regular OS storage. They can actually hide it in unallocated space. So we're gonna want to go look there. It's also gonna index the file, and so that way it can quickly find the files that you need. So let's say that if you have an incident, somebody committed fraud and there are certain files that's connected to that event, keyword search is probably the basic that you would start with looking for the information. So I put the link here. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and access this link and download. Let me copy the hyperlink and I just go here this way. So there are different versions and it does run on Mac OS. So you can see that the Linux Mac, but make sure that you read what's required for different packages on different OSs. Remember that this was written in Java and it was designed for Linux, but now we can use it on Windows. So click the 64-bit version here and save. And once you have the MSI file, you are going to use it to do the installation. Okay. So once we have the file, we're going to run the installation. And if your Windows Defender flag it as a threat, you're just going to allow it, just like what we've seen before in some of the security application. Now on Kali, you simply, because this is part of SwiftKit, you just use the SwiftKit. If you have it downloaded or Kali is equipped with it, then you can run it. If you use Ubuntu, you can download the package and run it that way. So Autopsy is part of SwiftKit, and you can read SwiftKit documentation on what features that you can use. We use it for a lot of different things. This is open source, so it's free, right? But there are forensic tools that are very pricey. So once that goes through, you also need this to be able to download. So there's an image that you need. Okay, so let me see if I can do control click. All right, so it's gonna take you to this page. Which step am I at? Number 4, because while I'm waiting for the download, I can download this one. So this is an image, which is what we take a capture of the system, and this is for NTFS. So depending on the type of system, so we know that this is a Windows system, and we are gonna get the image of a Windows system. And in this, we are gonna look for these files, okay? This exercise is designed for you to look for these files. So when you get the result, you can come back to this page and see if it checks off, right? If you have all of these files, then your keyword search is correct. If you don't have all of the files, if it's able only to find some, then you have to update your keyword list. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click this zip option here, the link to download, and it's gonna come here, and then it's waiting. Okay, then I'm just gonna keep it on downloads folder, so I click save. Okay, so you are gonna download the keyword search ntfs.zip. So what happened was I clicked this link, and then it's gonna ask you to save it in downloads. Okay, so you need the image in order to scan it. All right, so since my download for Autopsy is ready, I'm gonna go ahead and click open for my MSI file. All right, so this Windows Defender message popped up. You are gonna click more info and then click run anyway. You have to allow it, otherwise, you know, it's gonna recommend that you don't use it, but this is Autopsy, so we're gonna go next. And it's gonna put it in a default location under program files, go next. And then just click install. The application is fairly light, so you don't need a lot of things, right? It's just gonna be, you know, simple installation there. So that's gonna take a few minutes. After I downloaded the image file, I need to unzip it. So you are going to go to your folder here and click on downloads. And here's my zip folder. You're gonna right click, choose 7-zip, and you are gonna select extract files. Okay, again, go to your downloads folder under MVC, right click, the zip folder, 7-zip, extract files. Most of the image files that you find online for these type of practice is gonna be zipped because they're huge, okay? When we make an image file, you normally see that we put it on external drive, right? Or some case you do put it on the cloud for backup, but a lot of the times we put it on an external drive or another drive, okay? So once you click extract files, just click OK, and it's gonna unzip the folder for you, okay? Now, ideally, the image needs to go into a folder for your investigation. So I normally would have like a case number, and then I would put the image file on there. And I would always go there to have my file, and it can be easily backed up. Okay, so once I extracted the file, okay, I put a note on here that you normally put the image and everything on a separate drive. After the autopsy is installed, you are going to open up the application, but we're going to wait for this. Okay, any question? So while it's doing that, what you are going to be doing is you are going to set up a case name, and you are going to store that in an appropriate folder so you can find it later. Okay, so I put down all the steps for you to accomplish this, to be able to set up your case. Now, this hash value, you can find this on the download page for the image. So when you create the image, you can also generate a hash. We talked about that when we did encryption already, so you can do an Md5 hash. The reason why you want to do that is you want to make sure that your image has integrity. Nobody mess around with your image, and if they modify your image, your hash value is different. So you do want to compare the hash occasionally, right? Because if people know that you're investigating an important case, sometimes, right, they would try to access your system and then, you know, remove things or change your image. So what you want to do is you want to generate a hash value and be able to compare it down the line. Okay, any question? Okay, so I finished now, so I click finish. And then after you install, you can just call up Autopsy, which is 4.19.3. So just search for the Autopsy app, just like all the other apps. And this is made by Watchdog, so they participated in, you know, expanding this application. So it tells you here that, you know, the case for the central repository, it's used to do this, and we're going to click OK. And then we're going to allow access through Windows Firewall. So go ahead, because it needs access for the executable and the binary files. So you are here after you click OK a couple of times for Windows Firewall. Then you are going to make a new case. If you have an existing case, you just open it. So click a new case. And then I am here at this step, number 7, after I open the app. The next part is to name this case. So you can just copy this and then do Control V to paste it. So I have case 1, investigating NTFS. You want to put a little bit of, you know, indication of what you're doing. And then the base directory, I want to browse, okay? And here I want to make a new folder. I'm going to call this case 001. You want to do that because you don't want your things to be out in the open in other folders and having to look for the file. That's not good. Oh. Sorry. Then you are gonna point to the folder that you made and you're gonna click select. Okay. Make sure we put it in a new folder called case 01. So I am at step 10. Click a new folder button, which is folder with red star, and make a case 1 folder. Then select that path, that folder, and then you want to, it's gonna tell you that this is the path. Make sure you check it out, right? Now, since we're using the single version, the free version, the single user is only allowed. If you buy this product, which is Autopsy, you are allowed multiple users. Okay, like multiple investigator can use that resource, right? So we can go ahead and click next. And then again, our case number, you always want to catalog your case number. So make sure that we have the proper case number and then your name. And then you can fill out all of this information. So in real life, we have to complete all of this because this goes to court. It has your information. Okay. Any question? All right. So the setup part, we are going to click finish and it's going to build. It's going to pull database information. It's going to build out the case directory for you. And it's going to look like this. The cool thing about the new version of the software is it does walk you through step by step instead of making you click different buttons. Okay. So we are here after we have clicked finish. We're now here. Okay. So now at the host window, we're going to keep the default setting, which is generate new host name because you don't have a host name yet. So we are going to go next. And you are going to use this image. That's the one that you downloaded and unzipped. In the case, if you're actually performing investigation on a system, which we normally don't do, is where you would select these things. Okay, like if I'm looking for a file on the system, if I'm, so I want to just use this for now, right? It's an image that we have. Okay, so we're gonna go next. Or you can also use virtual machine image. Okay, so make sure that we select this or by default and click next. Then you are going to browse to the zip folder. So go to your PC downloads, okay, and then your unzip folder, which is your 3-KW SRCH, NTFS. We're going to click open. Again, click the next folder, the subfolder, click open. And you want the image, which is in .dd. In Linux, you can actually use DD as a tool, and it is command line based to be able to analyze. So this is just a graphical user interface that uses that tool in the back, basically. So we are going to select the DD image. We're going to click open. Make sure that you have that image set up there, right? Now you can specify the time. Normally, a lot of places, so if you're investigating international cases or cases nationally, you want to use your your UTC, right? Your universal time. But for us, that's fine. We can just keep it LA. And then the sector size auto detect. Your MD5 here, I copy and paste it already from the page for you. So you're just gonna go ahead and copy this. And then go here and then do Control V to paste. So your hash value, just to indicate that it has integrity, you put that there. If you're using SHA or SHA-256, that goes here, okay? And then we're gonna go next. I normally, ideally, if we're only doing keyword search, we can just select that option, right? But as you can see, it has a lot of different things here. So for the ingest, these are like the features, the tools that you want to use. I keep it. So for now, we're going to keep everything selected. But in the future, if you want to only if you want image, right? Picture analyzer, it does that for you too. Okay. So we keep everything, go next. Okay. And then we're gonna click finish. So now we have a source set up. Now you might have multiple sources in a real case, right? You might have a group of systems that you're investigating. So for example, if I'm investigating a company, it's not going to just be one image, it's going to be many. So you're going to have to redo all of that for every single source that you want to add to your interface. Question? Okay, so once we finish here with the configuration of ingest, we're going to click on the keyword list, which is on the top right-hand corner. Click here. Now, since it's new, you don't have any keyword list. You can always write up a list in a text file and import it in, okay? Or you can just make it within the application, okay? You can also use lists of phone numbers and so on. So in the case where if you need to search for something, and this is where it uses the regular expression right here, okay? So what I have you do is after you click the keyword list on the right, you're gonna click, sorry, you gotta do it again. Manage list right here on the bottom. Again, keyword list, manage list. If it goes away, just click keyword list again, manage list. I don't have a word list, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a new one. Click new list. Okay. And then we're gonna call it case 001. Something that's easy for you to remember. Okay. Now, so I'm here and I click OK, right? So on the right-hand side, you are going to add keywords to it. So you're gonna click this button right here, new keywords, because it's blank. And then you are going to put in the new keywords. So copy this. Right? So what you're doing is you're looking for allocated space, right? Unallocated space, your data. And if you come back to the link that when you download, right, it gives you the table, it explains what those are, right? So at the end, you're going to see those files. It's going to look at slack space, it's going to look at data, it's going to look at fragmented, areas and so on your drive or on that image. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, come back here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it. Okay. And then I'm going to click OK. Now I have a word list. Understand? So your word list could be names, it could be file names, it could be, now in real life, you're going to have to think about what kind of word that you want to use for that case, right? So if it is a case, it depends on the nature of the case. So if the case is about, child pornography, then you have to come up with the word list that possibly would go in there, like nudity, kids, stuff like that. Okay. So we wanted to, and then it does the image analysis too. So you can have that option. Then we click OK. So we have a word list now. Any question? Okay, so then we are going to come back here and you are going to click keyword list, and then you're going to check that option key, because first you have to create it, then now you select it. Okay. And it already load your source, which is your image here. And see, you just click search and boom, it takes a second. Very fast. Because your system is more powerful now, right? So if you're using on an older system, it's going to be slower. Okay, question? But also keep in mind that this image that you have is very simple. It already has like a lot of the things very apparent, so it's fast. There are images that are going to be larger, that has a lot of different things that it might take a lot longer to scan. Okay. Any questions? So here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna examine the result. Okay, first, I want you to take a screen capture of this. So you can snip it or alt print screen and then paste it onto your lab document so you have it. I do that not only because I wanted to see if you've done it, but also it helps you remember what you did back then when you come back to this months and years from now. Okay, then you are going to look at the files. How many files are found here? You can count them up. Unfortunately, this one doesn't give you the count, the counter, right? Oh, does it? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it does say 16.
I was
I
looking for
apologize.
that, and I found
Yeah, I was like 16. So 16. There used to be on the bottom, but I think they moved it. Okay. How many files are found? And then when was the first file modified? So the big important thing is you want, when you do forensic for files and things like that, you wanted to see when it was created and when it was modified, right? It gives you a trace, a timeline of how they create the file and they use the file, right? Sometimes it's the same exact date, sometimes it's not, right? So it tells you, if you scroll right, it tells you the create time here. So this was October 23rd, 2003, right? The same time as the change and the modified, okay? So how does it do that? It looks at the file attributes to be able to give you that report, okay? And it even tell you the hash of the file and so on. All right, so put down the answer there. Okay, question?
Professor,
Yeah,
so when I try to, after, what's it called? After step 27, when I paste it, I try to, and then when I click search, it says, no, it's not.
so you have a keyword list, right? You made a new keyword. Do you see this in your keyword list?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you select this?
yes,
Okay. And then you click search.
yeah.
Did you mount your image? So that means that something happens with your source. Do you see the .dd?
Sorry?
So click, so to fix that, go back, okay, to listing tab, make sure that your host is there. Okay, it has to be mounted, otherwise you won't be able to access it. Okay. So if you want to, you can just re-add the data source and then locate the unzip folder. It must be unzipped and then be able to do that. Okay, so after we have our report, our result, we are gonna make a report. So that's where you get paid, right? Because all of these things are nice and great, but you have to give them something to show them this is what I found, right? So you're gonna click generate report. Okay, and here you have different options. Okay, you can make file in text, you can do other things, but we are gonna do an Excel report. So I have you select the data source summary report. This one in the middle. The reason why is that we can actually export that out to other things. So, but you do have other options here. Okay. Then you're going to click finish. Or I'm sorry, go next and then finish. It's going to select your source for you and it's going to finish. And it tells you that it's putting it into the Excel format and it's at the location of your case file. That's why we make that folder in the first place. So it puts the report there for us. That's what's nice about this tool. For an open source tool, it's not bad, actually. it puts like the result and everything there for you, and then you click close. So now, once I have it, right, I'm gonna go to the folder. So here, I want to go back to, sorry, let me go to desktop. Let's use your manager MVC. Okay, I think it's under documents. We have case 01. So the folder, okay. Go to reports, then the folder again, data source summary, and it's there. Okay, I put the path for you, but so again, right? I go to MVC, documents, case 01, again, case 01. Then I go to reports, that's what we generated. Then the case, the data source summary, and there is your Excel. Okay. I don't know why it didn't port all of this in. But anyway, I think it's, I'm sorry? Oh. Sorry, we couldn't generate the report. It is possible remove. Just generate it again, I guess. I did it last night when I double checked this and it worked on my computer. So I think it's something funny with their Microsoft application. Okay. Let's do generate report. Let's fix it again. Right, we checked that, we click finish.
Yeah, it's saying the same thing.
It's fine. So just, it should give you like,
See, this is why they should generate it.
what's the point of generating and not be able to read it? Okay,
There's a lot of
so
stuff that
before,
makes
maybe
sense.
not double click it, but maybe we have to like open it. Or maybe yours worked? Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. This is what I get. I think it says, yeah, you're supposed to have that.
What if I just delete it and then just-
Yeah, you can try to delete it. Here, let me show you what it looks like, because I have it on my laptop. We couldn't open. I think it's, let's see, file. Let's try opening from here. Let's see if that works. Documents, case 01, reports. I did it twice, so let's do with the new one. How about we make it a text file? Oh, too bad. That's not cool. Oh, I hate it when it's not. Something's funny about the ones here. Okay. All right. So let's see.
Open it up again.
Generate. So let's do text and see what it, tabs delimited. Okay. Let's make it a text file and see if it's better. You can make a text file. Yeah. So it's not very clean, right? But this is why Excel's so much better. But anyway, here, let me show you what it looks like.
Just make a Python script and just grab it and put it in Excel.
You know, this works with Python plugins also.
Whoa. Whoa.
Okay, so let me open it up on mine and I can show you. So we can answer the last question together, okay?
This looks bad. Open it up and see.
All right, laptop. Let me share.
Windows.
Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, it should look like this.
Oh,
Okay, so it tells you that the size is this, right? You have one image, unknown is 22. And not analyzed is 2. Okay, and it gives you a chart. Okay, so when you answer the question, right? How many files are unknown? We can say 22. How many not analyzed? It didn't analyze 2. How many files are in the image? We know that all together, let me see, it did say that on here. Oh, how many files are images? Just one. So there's one image on that image. And then how many directories are found? There you go. So we have a total of 17 directories are found. Okay.
close it, so-
All right. So let me switch over to PC. All right. So that takes care of the autopsy part. Any question? Did you get your autopsy work? Get your autopsy work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. So we can now move on to the next part. So we can close autopsy. Close, close. It takes a bit to close. All right. Now we're gonna do user rights assignment. So as we touch on least privilege, I want to touch on a little bit about user rights assignment. So, but in order to do that, we have to have user, right? So what we're gonna do first is we are gonna make user accounts. Okay, so right click your start button. We're gonna go to computer management console. We're gonna make some local user. Now, if you have a domain, you have to make it on Active Directory. So we're gonna go to local users and group. You're gonna right click or right click the users folder. We're gonna make new user. So I am here on step 40. And I'm gonna make 2 user. First gonna be Jordan Wright, and then the second is gonna be Samantha Flores. So username, we're gonna do Jordan Wright like this together. And then his full name is gonna be Jordan Wright. And that's fine. We just click create and then do another one. Samantha Flores. Ideally, usually they use first initial, last name, but we'll just make it like this so it's easy for us. Okay, then we create, then we close. Okay, and you can set up password or whatever you like there, but I just want to show you how you can set up accounts and groups. Then in right click the groups folder, we're gonna make a new group. So I did this part, right? Now I'm gonna make a new group, step 42. So my group name is gonna be finance. And I'm gonna add, click add button. And then I'm gonna look for Jordan Wright. Okay. Again, I'm gonna click add and I'm gonna look for Samantha Flores. One word. Remember that's how you put the username. Click OK or check names. There you go. So now you have 2 members, right? In the finance. Then we're going to click create and close. So now open up the groups and you should see finance. Okay. Double click finance, you should see those people. Screenshot. So I'm here, right after I created the group and add the user. I went back to the groups folder. I opened this up and I opened up, double click the finance, and you have 2 users in the group. That's how you add the new user to the group. So screenshot that. Yes. Are you, yeah, did you make, okay, so you're here, right? Did you do the user account? Okay, so now you're here, you right click, new group, and then call it finance. Then add, and then you find the user, Jordan Wright. And then click OK or check names. And then repeat the step for Samantha Flores. Once you have those names added, click create, and it's gonna make the group for you. Then you're gonna click on groups, double click finance, and you would find those people there. Screenshot. Question. So that's how you create local user and add them to local groups. Now on the server, you're gonna make it on the domain, right? Instead of the local system, it's gonna be on the domain. Okay, and you would use Active Directory to do that. So now, once I screenshot, I close this, I close Computer Management Console. Okay. Then I'm gonna search for Group Policy Editor. So you just do edit, and then it's gonna pull up Group Policy, or you can type that out. So we're gonna go open this up. So this is your local Group Policy Editor. It looks similar to your GP, your GP editor in the domain level for Windows. You are going to click on computer configuration. Then we're going to move to Windows settings. Let me pull this to the right so you can see. Click Windows settings under computer configuration. Go to security setting. We've seen this before when we did the password policy. And then you're going to go to the, what was it? I'm sorry, local policy, I missed a step there. Local policy. I meant to type something there last night. So I'm here, right? I click security settings. I click local policy, and I click the user rights assignment. Okay. And then you are going to go down and look for deny. I don't know if you can set it on here. They might not let you, but deny log on through remote desktop service. This one. Go to properties. Okay. And then you're going to add, and we're going to add the finance group. Check name. Oh. Maybe we have to add the individual user. Let's see. Yeah, it lets you add individual users. So just add the user. It won't let you add the group because it's not global. So add Jordan Wright, click OK, and then add another one. We're going to go Samantha Flores. Check names, click OK, make sure there's underline before you click OK. So now I have those 2. So what you're doing is you're denying them, right, to use remote desktop service. You know what those are? Those are like, you know, the team ones that people can log into your computer and they can use your mouse and stuff like that, right? So when you do that, the deny is going to take over anything else. So even if we give them limited access, the deny is going to take over, right? So what I can do is I can deny some people of a certain service that they don't need. Okay. And then I can apply and click OK. So now when you look on there, you would see that their name is tied to that user rights. Okay. And user rights is under privileges, and that's usually for system tasks, what they cannot perform. Okay. So what we're going to do is after we did that, right, we are going to let them log on locally. So open here, double click, right? You're going to see that these are the users. So they belong to users also. So they will likely be able to do that, but we can add them. So click add users and group, and then we can add Jordan Wright. And then we're going to add Samantha Flores. So at this point, they are able to log on to the computer that you're on, right? So through this exercise, you are shown two things. One is to how to deny a user. Two is how to allow a user to a user right assignment. So what that is we can give them privilege to do something and then deny them privileges to do other things. And you have to think about what they need for their job. And so you can appropriately, you know, set it up. Now, normally we would have a template and apply it to a group instead of doing thousands and thousands of users, but I want to kind of relay the concept at the local level. That's how you're able to do that. And similarly, you're going to see that on the server environment. Any question? Okay, so once I have that, right, I'm going to take, so because we didn't add finance, right, just take a screenshot of this for me, okay, because you won't have the finance when we add them individually as a user. Let me see if I can add them as finance. Hold on. Yeah, it didn't like that. So yeah, just take this showing the user accounts like this is fine. Okay, so for 58, it says explain how least privilege principle is applied in the configuration of the user rights, right? So that means that if we deny them to have remote service or remote access, desktop service, then it's gonna, we are applying the least privilege principle in that it's gonna not let them use that type of service, okay? Because they don't need it. Now, in the case if they're in IT, then I might allow some user in IT to be able to have that resource, right? So just put in a blurb saying what it means when you deny them the remote desktop service, right? Because they don't need it for their role, their responsibility. So, and if they do need it, they just have to make sure that they escalate it to the IT department to request the service. You don't want to enable it and somebody access their account and be able to use it, right? So you would disable the services that you don't need for certain users and groups, and that's the point. All right, any question? Yes. Yeah. So if you don't configure, right, it would just go with the nested group, which is user. Because when you make any user account, it's in the users group. So if let's say that if it's not configured here, right, it is a vulnerability because see how this deny only guess. So if I don't want them to log on to the system, I have to specify it. Because if they log on in a certain group that's allowed, then it's, you know, outside a guess. See, that means that only guest group is completely denied. But anybody else is questionable, right? So you have to configure it. So if they log on as an account and it's not in this group, it's possible that they can access it. You see? Okay. So deny completely takes over everything else. Okay. Question. All right. So save your document. Make sure before we leave, make sure we remove our USB, right? And then if you're done with everything, make sure we have the answer, the screenshots, and then you can upload your document on Canvas for the lab. And then, so on Monday, since we don't have new lecture, right? I am going over maybe some final review questions, and then on Wednesday, we will gonna catch up with the wireless router lab, and then the following week, I will give you some more hands-on. But I will give you maybe a week or two off where you don't have to come in, but I'm here. So in the case if you want to catch up with certain things that you missed and you don't understand something, you're welcome to stop by and be able to ask questions and do some hands-on here. Okay. All right. Work on your practice exam for Security Plus. And then, yeah, question? Okay, so make sure we submit the lab before Sunday. And then if we're done, have some snacks. You can stick around until 4:30. Or you can go home and enjoy your week.